Greetings, passengers. This is your captain, Ben Pearson, the Roadster Tracker speaking. Today, we are going to fly from Page, Arizona, which was the same airport that we took off last time. We're going to fly to Tucson, Arizona. Why are we not flying from Vegas? Well, it's just kind of a boring flight, and I wanted to fly by Humphrey's Peak, which we promised to do 2 streams ago, so we're going to do that. This may be my last Microsoft Flight Simulator stream for a while. I think we'll do some scenic routes and some kind of exploring of how things are. I want to fly through the National Mall in particular, and probably some other stuff too. So we're flying a Citation CJ4 as we have been recently. Nice little plane. Ooh, I don't remember seeing this video in the past. Huh. Well, let's... one more chat. Guess this is just waiting for me to be ready to go. It's all good. Ooh, lots of new followers. That's fun. That have happened since I have last streamed. Which is fine. Anywho, let's do it. Okay, we are in cold start, so we're gonna go by the checklist. See, parking brake is set. Good. Power level in idle. Check. Generator switches are on. So we flip these guys. Oh, they're still on. Okay. So the battery switch we're gonna switch to on. Avionics switch to dispatch. All right, tick, tick, tick. Starting the engine. This one was the kind of funny plane. You push the starter button and then run. We'll put these covers back on. Unlike you would do in real life, we're starting both of these. Okay, looking good. Looks like they're starting to spool up. I guess it's just going to keep beeping at me with the parking brake on. That's fine. We're not ready for the air traffic controller. Let's just poke out to external view. We're going to, test our rudder. We're going to test the flaps. We're going to test the... Yep, all of the surfaces look like they're working good. I don't know that that's part of the standard... I'm sure that's a standard flight thing in real life, but I don't know what the deal is here. What are we at? Almost at 20%. Excellent. We can check all of these off. Engines are started, so we're going to set the avionics switch to on. Check. Lights. Got a bunch of lights. We need to turn on our wing lights. Beacon, nav, strobe. We can leave off the taxi lights. That's fine. And then all we have left to do is release the parking brake, which I am not doing quite yet, because we're going to call the ATC, which is actually not... we're going to turn in the traffic. We're going to announce taxi.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha Traffic Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is taxiing to runway tree.
All right. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and pull our brakes. We're going to try not to hit this dude. Dude, get out of the way, man. Looks like there's a lot of parking spots here. Just feels like more parking. Looks like the way we're actually supposed to go is over this way. Okay, we can probably sneak in here. Dude. Hong Kong, Hong Kong. Okay. Good enough. They don't really model that stuff. Let's aim a little bit more for the center of the runway. So we're just going to fly south. I'm going to do this mostly visual. This is an area I know well enough where I think I can do that, maybe. We may use our little VFR map if we need to. I will keep the ATC here the whole time, but we're not actually going to tune in like we should if we were being proper. Don't have a lot of big jets, I imagine, that fly into here. Taking off from Page is fun in this, but man, with a jet, but it is a pain. Okay. Hit the dirt a little bit. Oops. Maintenance crew's not going to be happy with me. We're going to announce depart south.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha Traffic Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo taking off runway tree south departure.
Okay, gonna check. Nobody coming. Nobody coming. All right, let's do this. And gun it. Oh, yeah. This is where the jets are nice. Let's just keep this going straight. Can't quite see my speed. But going a little bit fast on the runway is not going to hurt anything. So we're going to announce... well, I guess we were going to... But this is fine. Let's just keep rising for a bit. I'm not really paying attention to what's outside. We're just going to keep an eye on our speed. We're going to climb fairly fast. Going to try to keep my speed around 240. Seems like a good speed. What direction are we going? We're going to head south. We're speeding up, so let's continue to gain our altitude. Okay. Hang on. Can't quite read that. Nope, we are not going anywhere near south. So let's go ahead and fix that problem. So it looks like we're kind of flying out over Lake Powell. All right. We make our passengers sick. We're looking pretty good. 260. We're still climbing fairly nicely. How high are we? Let's take it to about 15,000. Whoops, we don't want to dip. I'm going to slow this down to kind of our cruise power levels. And we're going to get up to 1500. And I'm going to set the autopilot, but just for the altitude. So let's see. Altitude. Set this to 1500. Yeah, we'll dead stick it. No, we'll set this. Oh. What the? The altitude mode, hold mode. Oh, what? Why did you do that? We were much better. Okay, and hold mode on. Bend back up. Okay, it looks like we're doing better. All right, let's take a look. We are in the Painted Desert. We have a mountain over here, which I'm not super familiar with. What I'm hoping to do is to kind of follow Highway 89. And I don't think that's a straight south. I think that runs more along this ridge. So we're going to transition to that momentarily. Do you want to get a sense of some of these places? What's this particular spot? Is this Tuba City? Or Canta? No, let's see here. Here's Flagstaff. So, okay, this is fine. Yeah, we can actually see this. So we see here, this is probably the Highway 89. It's the main way you get between Flagstaff and Page, and a lot of the various places that we have been visiting. We're going to tune to Denver Central. Sure, we'll request a flight following, just to be nice.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is type Cessna C25C 16 miles southeast of Lima 412,800 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Denver Center. Squawk 0442.
Acknowledge squawk code.
0442 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo radar contact 17 miles southeast of Lima 412,800 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Acknowledge radar
Roger,
contact.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Let's go up 500 feet.
Denver Center, Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo 19 miles southeast
Per minute,
of
that
Lima,
seems like a
41
good
request
little...
IFR to Tucson, ready to copy.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is cleared to Tucson Airport as filed. Squawk 0442.
We're
Cessna
acknowledging.
Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo cleared to Tucson Airport as filed. Squawk 0442.
So,
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo readback correct. Radar contact 13,000 feet. Altimeter 29.902 turn right heading 165 proceed on course climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
we'll acknowledge.
Turn right heading 165. Proceed on course climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay, we'll do 17,000 feet. That's good. I'm going to ignore the heading. We're just going to kind of dead stick this. Nah, let's actually follow the heading. The reason being is we can do more looking out the window if we're on autopilot, and I'm good with that. So 165, turn that on. We're going enough. Let's go ahead and climb up to 1,000 feet per minute. So just a little bit higher. This will do. And then let's go take a look out and see what's around us. So you can see some just desert roads and stuff. You know, from the air, this all looks so different. Because I remember the Highway 89 that we would follow. Oh, this must be Tuba City here. So that means Highway 89 should be to the right. We've already gotten to the flat part. Man, make this so fast in a jet. It's insane. But it kind of goes along the ridge line. You see back behind us here. It's quite the road. And I felt accomplished as a driver when I could learn how to navigate on Highway 89 without too many issues. So on the left we have Tuba City, almost straight ahead actually. It's a smallish town really that was kind of an outpost. It's on the Navajo Indian Reservation. There's some dinosaur tracks that are just outside of it that you can see if you look carefully and know what you're looking for. It can be pretty fun. Looks like we'll be coming up at that pretty soon. So the way that you kind of get there, I think this is Highway 89, and then you kind of have to back your way up here. It doesn't show very well, but this is kind of a hard ridge to cross, pretty much the entire length. Let's see if we turn on ISO map. The worst is right here by Page. Man. Okay, so I guess this is where Highway 89 flows. And then you kind of reach back. So there's a little airstrip here in Tuba City. I'd never known that.
United 1925 contact Los Angeles Center on 124
Huh.
Flight. Good day.
I guess it would be to my right. It's this thing here. So this is Tuba City. Okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense. There are a lot more airports than people really realize. Oh, hey there, Saber. Thanks for the contact. Yeah, I've gotten so used to this. Haha. Yeah, so what are the main reasons to conquer Mars? Yeah, so Mars is... hopefully you're still around. Mars is the most Earth-like planet in our solar system. It's one of the few places that you can actually grow plants relatively easy. You have an atmosphere, but it's not so toxic like Venus that it's crazy. You just have to heat things up a little bit, and that can be tricky. Sorry I missed your comment. Jeez. Hopefully you're still around. So we're just continuing along here. This is Tuba City here. And this is the road, I forget what it is, that gets you there. Pretty small. One of the interesting things, this little block of area is the Hopi Indian Reservation, but this is the Navajo, and they don't really like each other very much, which is sometimes interesting. Oh, so that airstrip is right here. This is Highway 89 that we're coming up here. Nice little river. The dinosaur tracks are roughly right around here. So we talked about the Navajo Great Mountains. This is one of those. This is the highest peak in Arizona, which is Humphrey's Peak. We should be flying relatively close to it. Flagstaff is... yeah, so here's Humphrey's Peak. we're going to change our heading here. So let's do this. We're going to veer more southward. We're going to go due south. Okay, there is a Tuba City airport. Which will allow us to get a better look at it. Let's go ahead and get a cruise decrease. I want to fly more like 2,000. 15,000 will be good.
Request 15,000 feet.
It's still 2,000 feet above Humphrey's feet. Humphrey's Peak. Okay.
Spirit winds 1244 traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 350 generic. Report them in sight.
Descend and maintain 15,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Delta 11905 traffic is 8 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 320 generic. Report them in sight. Spirit wings 1244 traffic in sight. United 1054 traffic is 12 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 350 generic. Report them in sight. Delta 11905 have the generic in sight.
So what are we at? We need to switch this to vertical speed and put this at negative like 5. Well, we'll go negative 1,000. Okay. That'll take us down to a more reasonable altitude.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo, please expedite your descent 15,000 feet. Spirit winds 1244 contact
Yeah.
Los Angeles Center on 124.85.
We're expedited now. I thought we were, but we got it. All right, let's take a look back outside.
124.85 for Spirit wings 1244.
So there's a river here, which I don't really remember one. I guess it's kind of a little bit of a valley, but huh. This isn't the Grand Canyon. No. The Grand Canyon is way more to this direction. This roughly is the Grand Canyon. So if we take a look at this map, this is the Grand Canyon right here. So this is the closest point to,
Kilo Romeo contact Albuquerque Center on 124.5. Good day.
Acknowledge handoff.
124.5 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
It's interesting we're going to Albuquerque.
Albuquerque Center Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is at 15,000.
So yeah, you can see the Grand Canyon over here.
15,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Albuquerque Center altimeter 29.92 continuous plan.
All right. This is looking good, and we are going to fly pretty close to Flagstaff, which will be fun. Yeah, it turns out that flying a plane, even in a game like this, takes a lot of work, and it's really hard to look at both chat and fly an airplane at the same time. And it's even worse when there's not a lot of people who talk to you, so yeah. So somewhere right around here, actually, my father designed a bridge. There's a small town called Cameron that... see if I can figure out where this is at all. It's mostly known as the turnoff point to get to the Grand Canyon, one of the ways. And so Tuba City's there. This all looks so different. Oh no. I can't find the freeway. We're too high. Our freeway, the highway. But, Cameron is somewhere right around here, and my father, I think, designed a bridge that goes over... It's probably this river, actually. Huh. This river that I was cursing didn't exist. But that's okay. So we're getting close to Humphrey's Peak. It's actually... It's kind of cool. It's a ring of mountain peaks. We're not flying that much over it, but we're kind of, sort of. I don't know. I forget the collective name. The highest of these peaks is Humphrey's. It's a totally manageable but challenging hike to get up there. This may be 89. I don't know. It's so funny, like, you're traveling along roads and you don't even really think that much what the actual direction that you're going is. So you see it from the air and all you care about is the direction. You're not really following the roads. This is probably 89 that we're flying alongside, though. Because it does go pretty far off to the left of these mountains. If you're traveling to Tuba City from there, you kind of go up the backside. And I hiked up there the day before Halloween one year, which is fun. Luckily for us, there was no snow yet. Okay. Let's jump back in the cockpit. We're going to set the heading to a little bit more. I want to fly more towards Flagstaff. But we'll still keep the autopilot so we can keep chat going reasonably well. This will also take us over Sky Harbor in Phoenix. So Sky Harbor, there's Flagstaff, Cape Ann. No, it's not. K2, maybe. Oh, one of these. Cape Phoenix. Yeah, looks like the flight directly between Page and Tucson would not take us over Phoenix, but I do want to fly over all of the major cities here. Flagstaff is the third largest city metropolitan area in Arizona. Next would probably be Yuma, that's a military town. You can kind of see the rims of the mountains here that follow. I think the way that we hiked up, you hike up along this mountain on the backside, and then you go along the ridgeline to reach the peak Humphreys. So, it's fun. I miss hiking. I haven't done any real hiking in a long time. So this is Flagstaff. We're going to keep this heading until we pass over Phoenix. So between Flagstaff and Phoenix, there is a freeway. Believe it's the 17. Yeah, that sounds right. It goes just between those two cities. It's for a freeway, it's pretty mountainous. Flagstaff sits at about 7,000 feet. Phoenix sits at about 2,000 feet. Donny Park. Yeah, I don't really know any of the landmarks inside of the city, though. But the 89, it comes along here. And then you hit the 40 along here. Yeah, this looks right. Or the 17, excuse me. Oh, the 40 is probably actually this one. The 40 Goes a long ways. It starts in like North Carolina, maybe. Goes through Tennessee. It's quite a ways, and it also goes through Flagstaff. It goes through Albuquerque. Traveled a fair bit of that path before. So we're missing slightly the airport. That's okay. Somewhere, probably this way. This looks right. If I was going to build a freeway, this is the path that I would take between these mountains up here. And this is the 17. Go check our cockpit instruments, make sure everything's looking good. Floodlight. Ooh. Nice. Let's check the time of day that we're flying. I hope we're in real time. Oh, let's set this to real time. Live weather, sure. Set the Tucson. So they're probably going to complain. We're supposed to have our altimeter set, which, let's see here. Barometric pressure. Can I set that over here? I'm going to request the vector to the next waypoint, mostly because I just want them to give me the barometric pressure.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, turn left heading 135.
Turn left heading 135 Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Considering that we would have been told this, I'm going to just cheat and look and see what the weather says. Maybe we don't have that. This is a lake I believe that the Boy Scouts use. Pretty much every lake. This is one of the very few lakes in Arizona that is a natural lake. There's a lot of lakes, but they're all dams. They're all human-made lakes, but I think this is one of the natural ones. So we're going to hit external. Munns Park. This is... You actually land in Flagstaff when you're doing the tutorials, and Munns Park is one of the... Okay, there's our... Okay, acknowledge the instruction. So let's go back to our cockpit, and the problem is our barometric pressure is too high. So we're going to set that to 33. Basically, this is a correction because the altimeter tells you how high you are. And because in the base game without the weather, you just assume you're at 29.92 because that's the average at sea level. As you increase your rate, then you go up. But the pressure does go up from day to day, up and down. So this takes that into account. All right, looking good. Let's go back to external view. So there's Sedona. I never really realized until I played this game how close Sedona and Flagstaff are. They're close as the airplane flies, but they're not really that close driving, I believe. Yeah, they're fairly close. Sedona, of course, is a pretty city on a hill. The airport here is fun. This is the practice airport that you take off and land from. It's set up on a mesa, which makes it perfect to learn. you get a real good sense of if you're off. Okay, we are set to fly over Phoenix, and then once we get there, then we'll set the correction. Hopefully we can land coming from this direction in Tucson. That would make life easier. So there is a little airport here, Ryan Airfield, you can land at. You can also choose to land here, which is on the military Air Force Base. In the game, of course, that's not advised in real life. There should be some other airports of note. This is probably the Casa Grande. Where would that be? Maybe this one is Casa Grande. Probably. No, Casa Grande right there. Oh, I am
132.9 for Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
supposed to turn Albuquerque Center. I thought it was on Albuquerque Center. Oh, it was on a different Albuquerque. Okay. I guess we're just on a different air traffic control loop now. Farewell, Sedona. Rimrock. Montezuma. Oh, beautiful castle on a hill over here. It's really excellent. And don't let the name scare you from checking it out, because it's pretty cool. This is pretty gorgeous country, actually. Now, I didn't actually look at this, but I'm not objectives. Let's hit the navigation, which is... Oh, navlog. Here we go. So the total flight time is 45 minutes in a nominal type situation, which we tend to fly a little bit slow. And I'm fine with that. Trying to decide if this is the freeway or if this is a river. I think this may be a freeway. This feels like the type of freeway you go through to get to Flagstaff that I-17 passes along, but I don't think this is right. I think this is a river. Camp Verde. Okay, we're looking fine. I can't remember exactly what, but all of these little things on the end of an airplane have a specific purpose. It's something like to keep ice from forming or something like that. I wish I knew better, but I don't. Just looking at my Steam chats that look good. And now that I missed somebody in chat, I'm going to be absolutely paranoid about that for the rest of the day, but that's okay. I'll answer that question eventually. So Phoenix is probably over here. Let's check the map. There we are. Phoenix is pretty straight ahead. I'm gonna go 5 degrees to the left. So let's jump back in our cockpit. We're going to adjust the heading 5 degrees, so we're almost due south. In fact, let's adjust it another 5 degrees. So now we'll be going due south, which will take us not quite over Sky Harbor. I think this is the Mesa Airport, which is decent. I mean, these are the only 2 remotely big airports in town. Sky Harbor is huge. It's crazy how big this airport is. It's one of the largest in the country. Mesa has like small regional type flights, but they're just not as big. Mesa is where you go to for that small town feeling airport. First time I ever flew out of an airplane was from... First time I ever flew out a commercial airplane was from Sky Harbor. First time I ever flew in an airplane, though, at all was a small one. And it was out of here, Casa Grande. Probably similar size to this one, but not as powerful. 3031. We'll do just a slight adjustment. So basically the profile of the atmosphere goes up at a predictable way, but if you know what the ground way is, then you can have a pretty good correction.
Generic 407 contact Phoenix approach on 120.7. Good day.
And it's just so much cheaper to do your altitude based off of the pressure than anything else. Sky Ranch at Carefree. I think this is a airstrip that caters specifically to people learning to fly. Probably aerobatic maneuvers. I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember too many details. Looks like we're getting to some kind of a city. Yeah, this is probably Phoenix. One of the largest metropolitan areas in the world, really. At least in the country. We'll go with country. It's not that big on the world scale, but it's pretty big. It has a great system of freeways, which allows you to get from one part of town to the other real quick, which is pretty amazing for any of the big cities. The traffic's probably the best. I'm going to request an altitude decrease. I want to go down to 10,000, so we're going to drop 5,000 feet.
Albuquerque Center, Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo. Request 10,000 feet.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Okay, we're going to go to 10,000 feet. Put this on. And we should be dropping. Yep.
Kilo Romeo,
Oh.
did you hear my last transmission?
Yeah. I did.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Okay. So we're going to fly over Phoenix a little bit lower, and it's good to be lower anyways because we're heading here into town. Just look at how big the city, and we're flying at 15,000 feet at this point in time. That's insane. Unlike in real life, when you're flying over here, you see the glint of swimming pools everywhere. It's one of the highest per capita swimming pool ownership of anywhere. Scottsdale, one of the suburbs. Nicknamed Snotsdale because a lot of the people there tend to be a little bit snotty.
Romeo, contact Albuquerque Center on 125.
Oh, we have a different frequency. Still Albuquerque Central.
125.4 Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo. Albuquerque Center, Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo is passing 13,700 feet, descending 10,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, Albuquerque Center, altimeter 30.15. Continue as planned.
3015. Okay. I don't know how much is normal air pressure change. That's okay. We're getting it. Scottsdale. It kind of surprises me how much of a difference there is. Well, Scottsdale, I guess, is the first kind of real true town that you come in here. This area is growth that we've just been passing through. Whew, excuse me. That looks almost like a runway. Right through the middle of Scottsdale. It wouldn't surprise me that much. But no, well, yeah. I guess this is a runway. It's, you know, an affluent community. They must just have their own little runway. Huh. Well, that's cool. We're not going to land there, though. Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. 5th largest airport in the world. So, what's our altitude at? It's covered by this. Okay, we're still doing fine. All right, we're flying pretty much directly over Sky Harbor. Yep, let's switch our heading again just a little bit. We'll go to like 175. We're going to fly straight over Sky Harbor. Getting close to 10,000 feet, which is more than enough for just about anything here. There's a couple of mountains near Tucson that are close to 10,000 feet. But this is a relative area. I mean, you can call this the Phoenix Valley. You can see there's some mountains that are off along far, far distance, but this is a very, very surprisingly flat area. all things considered. Hey, there's Sky Harbor. I hate you, Sky Harbor. Tempting to drop a sandbag on it. The weird thing with Sky Harbor is there's actually not all of the terminals are connected together. So sometimes you have to go between, you have to go through a security checkpoint if you have a particularly nasty layover. Sky Harbor, it has its pros and cons flying from there. But I always preferred to do the Tucson airport if I could get away with it. But I lived in Tucson, so that made sense. All right, let's request our vector, and we're gonna set this properly.
Kilo Romeo requesting vector to next waypoint.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, turn left, heading 135.
Acknowledged, 135.
Left heading 135 Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Okay, this will take us a little bit more. Stellar Air Park. I'm not familiar with that. Yep, we're going to fly over Casa Grande now, which I did want to do. Casa Grande, the city itself, is more along here. You take the I-10 to get between Phoenix and Tucson. It goes mostly north-south at this stretch. But I-10, of course, east-west. It goes, you know, from coast to coast. Starts in Los Angeles and ends somewhere in Florida. Goes through New Orleans, Houston, El Paso, Mobile, most of the Gulf Coast. Memorial Airfield. I'm not familiar with this one. And I'm pretty sure this is the I-10 that we're following here. So we're probably roughly in Chandler. This may be... I think there's a racetrack or something that's in this part of town. The area pretty abruptly goes from heavy city to nothing. And that is actually, there's a very good reason for that. The reason is this is an Indian reservation. I forget the name of it. But they don't allow the city to be built there, so they build it right up to the walls of the reservation and no further. There's a few things like a casino or something. This may be that. I didn't know there was an airfield here, though. Huh. This is actually really good heading. I-10 is a very flat and straight shot at this point in time. It's interesting the shapes of these neighborhoods. I didn't actually know that was a thing. Whoa! In real life, if a plane was flying that close to me, I would be freaking out. I would be mad at air traffic control. It's exactly what they're supposed to stop happening. So this is probably the Casa Grande. Yeah. Casa Grande, it's Casa Grande Municipal Airport. So you're going here along the I-10, which this definitely is. And then you take a right-hand turn, and you can go up along here. It's kind of the back way into Casa Grande, but it's fun. The airport's along here. The city itself is more up ahead, but it has grown to include the area of the airport. I think the airport is becoming increasingly important. Let's see. Coolidge. It's probably here. Wow, they're descending quick. That's crazy. So somewhere around here, there's kind of the magic line where things go. There is a, let's see, airport's there. There's a nice state park over here that I've taken family pictures of and kind of sort of went camping once. That's a long story. Yeah. There's a community college that's somewhere around here that I attended for a while. That was fun. It's got a very classic desert look. It's interesting that there's a kind of right-hand bend here. You don't really notice that kind of stuff, but yeah. See, there's the airport. I used to live probably right around here. Wow. Lots of farmland here. The kind of main boulevard here, there's a lot of stores along here. I knew a few people who would farm in this area. The high school is somewhere around here. This is the high school right there. Wow, how about that? And that actually looks like the high school. No freaking way. It has exactly that U shape with another building here. The cafeteria's all in here. There's a bunch of classrooms along here. Has all outdoor hallways. That is amazing. So then you go along here, and then you turn left here, and there is Central Arizona Community College, which looks reasonably well as far as I can tell. Don't know what this building is. That may be new. This is amazing. Wow. Wow. So this is Casa Grande Mountain. It has some paths you can go hike up to the top. Looks like this is water, but I'm not super convinced. The I-10 goes right along here, and the I-10 is here. Excuse me. The I-8 gets created somewhere right here. So the I-8 will take you to San Diego. Looks like they run parallel to each other for a little while. I don't remember that being the case, but yeah, I think this looks right for the San Diego interstate. That's about the right spot. Cool. So this is Eloy. Eloy does have a little runway that a lot of people will parajump from. So they'll, get in an airplane. Eloy Farms Airstrip. There we go. They'll come in here. They'll, fly up to enough altitude and jump out of airplanes. So we would have to be wary of parajumpers in this particular heading. I think we would be fine. But yeah. Or maybe that's Ed's field that they fly from. One of these two. This is Picacho Peak. It looks like Pikachu though. It is the site of the furthest west Civil War battle for the United States Civil War. This is a mountain that I always wanted to climb, but I never had an excuse to. Picacho Peak, it has a very particular shape. It turns out that in the Civil War, Tucson was on the side of the South and Phoenix was on the side of the North. Neither one was a state, so they didn't particularly do much, but they had a little skirmish right here in the middle at Picacho Peak. I don't remember who won or any of the details, and it was not a particularly important or well-known battle, but it was kind of interesting. This looks like there are a bunch of little runways. Which should be consistent. You can go out there and sit and watch people come in and parachuting, which I did once. It was fun. I don't remember much of what there is here. Picacho is a state park right now. You can see the parking areas, so you can camp here and do hiking and stuff like that. It's supposed to be quite the hike to get to the top of it, from what I understand. So we're at decel roughly. I'm gonna just bring my mountains a little bit low. Whoops, I punched the landing gear. Let's not do that. Pinal is a little town. I remember seeing it on the I-10. Not too much of huge note, but it is kind of fun. Lots and lots of farmland. This farmland is probably going to remain largely fallow because all of the irrigation and such for this depends off of the Colorado River, and the Colorado River has been running dry, quite frankly. So they're going to have to cut it, unfortunately. We're right on approach for Tucson.
Albuquerque Center, Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo requesting vector to next waypoint.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo, turn left, heading 135.
Okay. Acknowledge 135.
Heading 135 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
We are going 135. Oh, okay. Good. We kind of woke them up and said, hey, we're here. Acknowledge handoff.
128.5 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Contact Tucson approach.
Tucson approach, Cessna Tango Romeo
So we're going to
Kilo
switch to
Romeo,
visual, and we're
10,000
going to drop 1,000 feet per minute.
Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo, Tucson approach altimeter 30.15, continuous planned.
I don't care. We're going to go down to like 6,000 feet. They probably won't be very happy with this, but this is fine. Okay, Marana is kind of where you hit the edge of Tucson when you're coming in from the north. So we're just going to look externally here. So we approach the Tucson Valley. We have Marana here. We have the Mount Lemmon is the highest point over here. We have the Santa Rita Mountains. I forget their name. No, Santa Rita is these ones. These ones are... See, this is the Tucson Mountains, a lot of Westons.
Kilo Romeo, you are 800 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, altimeter 30.15.
We're going to acknowledge instruction,
Maintain 10,000 feet Cessna Romeo.
and we're going to request cruising lower by 4,000 feet.
Tucson approach, Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Request 6,000 feet.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Okay, is that where we're headed? Yep. Acknowledge instruction.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
8,000 feet?
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
We're going to say decrease to...
Approach, Cessna Romeo
Oh, shoot.
Request 4,000
Okay, that's fair. I think 6,000 feet is where we're supposed to be, but I don't know. 4,000 feet would be pretty low for above Tucson. So let's see here. There, I-10 is Taylor Field. We are actually flying over Tucson. Well, kind of. Tucson Mountains are these little peaks here. The I-10 is probably over here. I don't know this part of town as well as I should. Well, we're going to fly this from the remainder of the trip from the cockpit. So the Tucson Mountains do get up to like 5,000 feet, and they're right.
Romeo, Kilo Romeo, you are 800 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet altimeter 30.13.
We're going to acknowledge.
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
I'm going to set this at 7,000. We're going to request an increase of 1,000.
Tucson approach Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Request 7,000 feet.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Expect 7,000 feet.
What? I don't understand.
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Expect 7,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo
So
Romeo.
I'm going to stay at 7,000 feet. La Cholla Air Park. So Mount Lemon up here. Lots and lots of fantastic hiking trails in this area. Tucson's pretty good for hiking overall. We've got maybe the I-10. I think this is the runway we're heading for. I'm going to switch our heading to line up with that better. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, yeah.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, please expedite and climb 8,000 feet.
Can I request a cruising altitude decrease by 1,000?
Tucson approach Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Request 6,000 feet.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Acknowledge instruction.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
So we'll drop to 1,000.
Kilo Romeo, climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
No! I'm just gonna say again.
Tucson approach Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Say again, please.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
I'm going to acknowledge this,
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
and then I'm going to request 1,000 feet lower.
Tucson approach Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Request 5,000 feet.
Cessna, Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, request denied.
Air traffic control has got to be tired of me. But I'm kind of tired of air traffic control too. So let's see here. What are we at? We're at 6,000 feet, which we have been given authorization to be at before. This must mean that they want us to go back. Hey, there's the moon. Wonder if that phase is right. So Tucson is, like Phoenix, fairly flat. It has a few skyscrapers, but not many. Man, it must be a hard job to be an air traffic controller. Probably pretty thankless, too. Especially when you got jerks like me flying. Not really knowing what I'm doing.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, please expedite and climb 8,000
Fine.
feet.
They really want me to be at 8,000 feet. So we'll set the altitude to 8,000.
Territory, Forsyth Airport is 12 miles at your 9 o'clock.
And I'm going to just set a vertical speed of like 2... I'm going to put 500.
Maintain present heading and altitude generic tree 45. Generic tree 45 runway in sight. Generic tree 45, you are 12 miles west of Ryan. Maintain present heading and altitude.
Oh, so that person's going to land at Ryan Airport.
Ryan Tower on 125.8.
So Davis Mountain is over there. You can kind of navigate your way in Tucson based off of the mountains.
Maintain present heading and altitude.
Um,
125.8 generic tree 45.
this is Aviation Parkway. We're right by the airport. I mean, right by the airport. I bet you, I said we weren't going to do this, but we're going to do this. Yep. Haha. We're flying right over the Tucson airport. Okay, so let's change our heading a little bit. We're obviously going past the airport. So we're going to go at like 150 degrees. So there's Ruby Star Airport. We're actually going to be fairly close to the Mexican border. Let's flip this around. Yeah. Let's see here. This is Raytheon Missile Systems, where they build most of the missiles that you've ever heard of, and some that you haven't. There's a little reservoir here, although every time I've ever seen it, it's been empty. Yeah. So we're flying towards Mount Wrightson, I believe. Wrightson Peak or something. Something like that. There's a lot of telescopes that are on this one, which I think is Mount Graham, if I remember right. There's not much between here. This is the Old Nogales Highway, and this is the I-19. A lot of pecans are grown in this area for whatever reason. I guess it makes sense for Tucson. They'd want the approach to be from this direction because it'll be quieter. You're not going to be flying over the city at a low elevation. There's really not much out in this direction.
Tucson approach Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo requesting vector to next waypoint.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo, turn left, heading 135.
135. Acknowledge.
Turn left heading 135 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay. Now I think we'll stay in cockpit mode for the rest of the way. So this is Sahuarita National Monument. Lot of saguaro cactus here. Saguaro Cactus National Monument. That's what it's called. Sorry, it's been a long time. It has two parts.
Kilo Romeo, you are 8 miles south. Maintain present heading at altitude. Expect localizer back course runway 29 right approach via Sully transition. Cleared to Sully.
Okay. Acknowledge assigned approach.
Maintain present heading at altitude. Expect localizer back course runway 29 right approach via Sully transition. Cleared to Sully Cessna
I don't
Romeo
know
Kilo
what
Romeo.
Sully is. It's probably like a left-hand turn, though. Let's kick off the autopilot. And I'm just going to start turning right. Stall. Really? Okay. Oh, we're climbing. That's why. Stall is always a bad thing to hear. Let's not quite turn so much. We're lowering our altitude slightly, and I think this is fine. What? Okay. Fine. What? What? Negative.
Tucson approach Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo. Say again, please.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Albuquerque Center on
I guess I'm in trouble. Fine. Acknowledge handoff.
134.45 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
I don't know why they're sending me back here. You would really think that Tucson would want to...
Albuquerque Center Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is at 8,900 feet descending 8,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Albuquerque Center altimeter 30.16 continue to Sully as planned. Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Tucson approach.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you were talking about. Acknowledge handoff.
Going to 128.5 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
What on... Why can't I... Hang on. This is weird.
Tucson approach Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is at 10,600 feet.
Am I
descending
doing
8,000
something?
feet.
Did I do something weird?
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Tucson approach altimeter 30.16 continue to Sully as planned.
Okay. I really don't know what I'm doing here. Hang on. Let's zoom out.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Albuquerque Center on 134.45.
Jeez.
Good day.
Acknowledge handoff.
To 134.45
Obviously, I'm doing
Cessna
something
Romeo
really
Kilo Romeo.
horrible that they keep handing me back.
Albuquerque Center Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is passing 10,600
Okay, let's pull our gear.
descending 8,000 feet.
Let's put our flaps.
Kilo Romeo Albuquerque Center altimeter 30.16 continue to Sully as planned. Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Tucson approach on 128.5. Good day.
Okay, acknowledge handoff.
8.5 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Hang on. Turn to Tucson approach. Okay. We're okay. Contact Tucson approach.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is passing 10,500 feet descending 8,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Tucson approach altimeter 30.16 continue to Sully as planned.
One of these days I'll figure out what that means. Do you guys know? Then let me know. I think I screwed...
Kilo Romeo contact Albuquerque Center on 134.45.
Crying out loud. Okay, hang on. There's something wrong with... Acknowledge handoff.
134.45 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
So I'll turn this over. Now let's look at my
Albuquerque Center Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo
flaps
Romeo is
lever.
passing 9,400 feet descending
Speed brakes,
8,000
no.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Albuquerque Center altimeter 30.16 continue to
We're just going to fly based off of this.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Tucson approach on 128.5. Good day.
Acknowledge
Going to
handoff.
128.5 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay, go to Tucson approach. This is behaving most strangely. Like, hang on. Let me pause this for a sec. So what's happening is my joystick is push center and we're going way, way up. So I'm going to unpause this. Okay, let's go faster. Okay, this is better. Okay, our flight path is a little bit off. Let's contact Tucson approach again.
Tucson approach Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo 8,200 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Tucson approach altimeter 30.16. Continue to Sully as planned.
I'm just going to land. Screw this. We're going to get on the approach path.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo contact Albuquerque Center on 134.45. Good day.
So we're going to stall where we've got no power. Which I'm okay with. Okay, we're pointing downward.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo acknowledge last transmission.
Yeah, you know, fine. Acknowledge
Going to
handoff.
134.45 Cessna
And I'm
Romeo
going
Kilo
to
Romeo.
ignore you, really. We're just going to land. Screw this. What's our elevation? 6,000 feet. Contact Tucson approach.
Tucson approach Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is passing 6,100 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Tucson approach altimeter 30.16. Continue to Sully as planned.
Okay, I don't really know what this continue to Sully is, so... Can we select another approach? Let's try... We're going to do a hard burn here. We're moving probably too slow, although we have flaps, so we're not stalling. Let's do a hard burn. This is probably too much.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo, you are 1,800 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet altimeter 30.16.
Okay, so here's the airport. We're going to just acknowledge instruction, and we're going to do whatever
Climb
we
and
feel like.
maintain 8,000 feet Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay. Oh boy, this landing stuff, man. It's rough. Okay, let's get our flaps out. So we're just going to head south a bit. Like at about this angle. Okay, that looks good. 6,000 feet is probably plenty. Why are we going so high? I don't understand this. Our So one of the things I know you can do, and I'm worried that we're actually doing it, is you can adjust the flap so that there's kind of a default resting flap spot. It's not flaps, it's I forget what it's called, to be honest. I don't see it on this particular plane. Well, let's just... Okay, fine. Let's just hit...
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, contact Albuquerque Center on 134.4.
We're going to hit 8,000 feet. We're going to set our heading... Acknowledge the handoff.
134.45 Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Our heading, hold on. We need to turn autopilot on. Let's get everything a little bit better centered. And then we'll just figure this out. Okay, we're seeming to do fine. Now let's see if we can... If we have a anti-ice machine... Get the engines. We've got... I don't see this, and I think because this has an autopilot, then we don't expect to have these kinds of controls. If I go to the external camera, then we can see the trim. That's what it's called. The trim is pretty much center. Knowing what this is called, can we find anything? I mean, it would be a knob that's similar to these. Range, data, barometric pressure. 13.6, we're pretty close, but we'll fix that. Okay, we're coming out at a fairly good... We'll contact Tucson approach.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo is at 7,700 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, Tucson approach altimeter tree 0.16, continue to Sully as planned.
I don't know what Sully is. Okay, let's try changing our heading to the east. Okay, so dead east. And then we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to try to fly this dead sticking by autopilot is what we're going to try to do. I really think my altitude needs to drop. So we're going to start descending. Let's set the altitude to 6,000 feet. We're going to start descending. Okay. Let's keep the altitude going. Eventually, we're going to need to go beyond true north. So let's go north. Hitting 0. So that'll put us here, and we should be able to see the runway pretty soon. Overspeed. Okay, heading. We need this to be about 130. 310 should be good. We're reasonably good.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, you are 1,000 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet altimeter 30.14.
Acknowledge, and we're going to
maintain
ignore.
8,000 feet, Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Okay, let's keep going down to 5,000 feet. So we're going to land this puppy. Okay, we're off a little bit, so let's see. Our heading needs to be more to the left. I'm going to lower us down and I'm going to set our flaps out. What's our speed?
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, please expedite your climb 8,000 feet.
Yeah, not going to happen. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Do we see the airport? Let's keep descending. Let's drop to 2,000. Okay. We are off on our heading a little bit.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, please expedite your climb 8,000 feet.
Okay, this is the airport. Let's turn off the autopilot. We're gonna dead stick this. Where's the freaking runway? There it is, dead ahead. Gonna give ourselves a little bit more speed. We'll set the landing gear out. Ooh, we're going too low.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, please expedite your climb 8,000 feet.
We're gonna cancel IFR.
Tucson approach, Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo would like to cancel IFR.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change
Okay.
confirmed. Good day.
That will help with this. Now, let's keep going. Okay, we're gonna come down. Good. Coming down through the airport. Got our runway. I really need to learn what this Soli is. Okay. Parking brake. Okay, we're going to talk to Tucson Ground. Request taxi to parking.
Tucson Ground, Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo, request taxi to parking.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha.
Acknowledge.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay. We slightly missed this, but this is fine. Whoops, you're going to hit some bumps. That's fine. And I just don't even care anymore. We're going to do something else, I think, next time. So, yeah, we're going to just park here, and then we're going to fly around Washington, D.C. and maybe some other fun areas. All right. So all we need to do is turn this off and flip the battery off. We can flip the generators to off. All right, well, that was something.